Mike here with Make It Great Again. Welcome back to part 2 of the video series where we're going to continue dismantling my 2015 Argo 750 HDI 8x8 extreme terrain amphibious vehicle. Alright guys, now that I got the top shell off, I was able to do a little more deeper inspections. I was looking over the transmission and the engine, in particular its brakes, its braking system, and I noticed something peculiar right off the bat. So you've got the brake discs right here on this side and on that side. Those are your turning brakes, and then you got brakes right here on the outsides of those, and those are your stopping brakes. Now if you noticed, this is normal, right? This rusted color on the outer rim is normal. Here, it's shiny on both sides. Okay, on further inspection, I looked, and the disc is actually rubbing on the floor pan. So, either there's something going on with the frame, there's an adjustment to the transmission I don't know about, or, well, the floor pan might be buckled up, the metal, from, hitting something on the bottom. On both sides, I don't know. That's something we're going to be addressing also, figuring that out on why it's scraping. It shouldn't be touching. So right now I'm just going to go through. I'm going to start busting all the chains off. All right, let's get started. With the body jacked up and the tires off the ground, I'm going to be able to turn all of the chains on this one side by hand to locate the master cylinder, or the master links here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off real quick and get this chain busted off of there. These are new chains on the front. I bought these when I first bought the Argo, along with the bearings, the bilge pump. I bought some plugs for the rear of it and things like that, but these front chains are really, really loose. They went on loose, so I don't know if it's a worn out sprocket or it might be related to that brake disc sitting down on the floor, and maybe there's some adjustment to the transmission. But either way, it shouldn't be that way. Some of the older models, the 2007s in this body style, they actually had chain tensioners on the front of these things, but other than that, let's see here. Hopefully I can get this chain out without any hang-ups. Alright, let's see here. Alright, here's the first chain out. The sprocket looks okay. Alright, well, let's keep going. I'm going to just continually busting the chains off. I'm not really going to show you any of that. I mean, you just watch me take off the front chain. It's going to be the same for all of them. To get these off, you're going to have to loosen your tensioners. And these things just basically rock and then slide down so that you can get some slack on your chain to undo your master links on these and get these off. So that's going to be the same for all of them. They all have tensioners. Loosen up your tensioner and start pulling chains. With all the chains removed, I was going to start pulling the axles, but instead now I'm going to concentrate my efforts on pulling this transmission out. So let's start with the belt and the clutch, and move my way around to removing all of the brake calipers and stuff. So I'll pull the belt off the clutch. It's pretty simple. Grab the belt, pull it over like so, and rotate. Come on. There we go. And the belt's off. Next comes the clutch by loosening up the main bolt right here that holds the clutch on. I've had this off before, so I use some of that anti-seize on there to help get it off. There we go. Oh, don't want to lose that. All right. So the clutch is out. Don't want to lose the keyway here. And that's it. All right, cool. Next, I'm going to start removing the brake calipers. Got the two on top right here for your steering. And then you have the two on the bottom down there for your handbrakes. And then, of course, there's one in the back there for the emergency brake. But I'm going to go ahead and rotate around. So on this, see right here, this hole right there. And start removing the bolts. You'll have one on each side below to get these off. You know, most of the bolts on this Argo are metric.
It's not honey anymore, bitch. It's not honey. Okay. It's not honey.
Except for a couple of them like these. These are standard. But this is how we're going to get these off. Does anybody out there know if these are supposed to be that loose? I don't know about, I've heard floating rotors before, but that seems a little loose to me. Huh. It's the same on the other side. And yes, those bolts on both sides are tight. So it's not that. Next, take the handbrake calipers off on both sides and free up all that space so we can start getting to what I want to. The jack shafts here to disconnect those. Now that those brackets are off, it really clears a path for getting these jack shafts out, but I still want to take care of this jumbled mess. So I'm going to disconnect the throttle linkage and the LCD. I think these are the main plugs here. So once I take those through, I can fish them all through here and get it off. And now the LCD screen is disconnected. There's a wiring for that. Got the handbrake disconnected. Put it over here with all the rest of the crap. And next I'm going to have to remove these. So I'm going to have to loosen up these two bolts, pull these two bolts, and these will individually come off. And keep those with the brake caliper. And there are the individual master cylinders with their corresponding calipers. This is what makes the Argo turn. Next is going to be the handlebars and LCD screen. You're going to have to remove these 4 bolts, take this top plate off, and the handlebar will come off. And it'll also loosen up the plate down here that holds on your LCD screen. And the handlebars come off, throttle cable comes off, and the LCD screen and wiring harness come off. And that's what's left.
Look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, would you look at this? Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
All right. Seems my next logical step would be to remove the emergency brake here. Get that off. So there's this Allen bolt here on the top and one on the bottom. And then this should come out also. There's a little tiny, looks like rotor right there. Now that those are off, next will come this bracket right here. Goes across. Same on the other side. And here, like I said, you can get a closer look. How it doesn't sound like it's rubbing. Well, maybe it is. When you're removing the emergency brake, be mindful that there's a little spacer right here. Right there. So don't lose those. Got the emergency brake off, and that pad is pretty chewed up, and of course that fell out of it as well. Look at how bent up that thing is. That is a result of probably driving around with the emergency brake on. Like I said, I've never done one of the 750 HDIs before as far as stripping it all down, so I'm just kind of going in a chronological order in my own mind as to what logically needs to come off next. So something I missed, which would have helped freed up some space, is this radiator ductwork right here, and it's held on by these 3 rivets. So I'm going to remove those rivets and get this thing out of the way so that I don't have to reach underneath it for stuff. So like I said, hindsight's 20/20.
I feel pregnant.
That out of the way. That'll definitely make it easier to get to that axle and those bolts down there. We've pretty much got everything freed from the transmission, and now I'm going to unbolt this collar, which is going to enable this hopefully to slide over, but I'm worried about it contacting down there. And I loosened up all of the bearing bolts right here to hopefully be able to slide this shaft one way or the other to remove it. And the same on the other side to then unbolt the transmission here, right there, and again on the other side. I'm going to lift it out. Let's see how it goes. All right, so now that I got all 5 of these bolts out of this collar, what I discovered was I didn't even need to take these bolts off. This shaft, I thought there might be some clearance in here to slide it forward and remove it. But that's not the case. What it does is it simply unbolts it from the transmission itself so that you got space to pull the transmission, then you can slide this shaft out. So let's get this disc off real quick here. See if I can't finagle that. Oh, there we go. Disc is off. The collar will stay on there. So you can see it just couples the transmission to the shaft here. So, and again, I can't get this out until I pull the transmission. I'm looking where the disc would have been riding or scraping on the body or on the floor pan, and surprisingly enough, I can't see any marks. So that's I could have swore that this disc was definitely scraping or riding on the floor pan there, but I guess not. That's barely any clearance. It's awfully close, Argo. All right, now it's time for the other side. So lessons learned, I'm not even going to mess with these bolts right over here. I'm just going to concentrate on getting those 5 out of the collar. Yep, it's tedious for sure. All right, so transmission bolts have been removed, both front and both from the rear. I've had to reach into my bag of tools and grab some muscles here to lift it out of its place. There you go. That's it. Oof, look at all that nastiness in there. And now I can take the jack shafts, output shafts, whatever you want to call them, out. This is going to conclude part 2. So stay tuned for part 3, where I'm going to go ahead and start pulling all 8 axles and getting that engine out of there as well. Some of these bearings are pretty nasty. Listen to this. Oh. That sounds so horrible. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you've made it this far, stay tuned for part 3.